Have you ever caught yourself saying something like, "I'm just not good at this," or "That's just not my thing"? Maybe it was about math, drawing, public speaking, or learning a new language. Those moments, those statements are reflections of what psychologists call a fixed mindset. On the other hand, maybe you've said, "I don't understand this yet, but I will," or "I can improve with more practice." That's the voice of a growth mindset. The idea of the growth mindset was developed by psychologist Carol Dweck, who spent decades researching how people succeed and what drives motivation and learning. What she found is both simple and powerful. It's not just talent or intelligence that leads to success, but how we view our own potential. In other words, the mindset we hold about our abilities shapes our actions, choices, and ultimately, our outcomes in life. So what exactly is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset? In a fixed mindset, people believe that abilities are innate. You're either smart or you're not. You're either talented or you're not. Success is a reflection of something you already have, and failure is proof that you don't have what it takes. In this mindset, people tend to avoid challenges because failure feels like a personal judgment. If something is too hard, they'd rather not try than risk looking incapable. On the flip side, people with a growth mindset believe that abilities can be developed. Intelligence, skills, talents, they're all starting points, not final destinations. Effort, persistence, and learning are how you grow. From this perspective, failure isn't a sign of inadequacy. It's a natural part of the learning process. When something is difficult, it's simply a sign that more practice is needed. The journey becomes more important than the result. This difference in mindset has profound effects, not just in school or work, but in nearly every area of life. Take education, for instance. Dweck studies show that students with a growth mindset perform better academically over time. They're more likely to take on difficult tasks, seek feedback, and keep trying even after setbacks. They view challenges as opportunities to learn, rather than as threats to their self-worth. The same applies to athletes. A runner with a fixed mindset might believe they'll never be fast because they weren't born with natural speed. They stop pushing themselves. A runner with a growth mindset recognizes that while they might not be fast right now, they can get faster through proper training, consistency, and effort. Even relationships are shaped by these beliefs. In a fixed mindset, people might think, "That's just the way they are," or "We'll never get along," assuming personalities and behaviors can't change. But with a growth mindset, there's room for development. People believe that with effort and communication, even difficult relationships can improve. All of this comes down to how we respond to challenges, effort, mistakes, and the success of others. In a fixed mindset, challenges feel threatening because failure suggests you lack ability, so it's common to avoid them. Effort feels like a sign that you're not naturally talented. After all, if you were really smart, you wouldn't have to try so hard, right? Mistakes are embarrassing, and criticism is seen as an attack rather than a tool for growth. And when others succeed, it can trigger jealousy or insecurity because their success feels like a comparison or a competition. But here's the thing, none of us has a completely fixed or completely growth mindset. We're all a mix of both. You might have a growth mindset about your hobbies, believing you can improve with practice, but a fixed mindset about your career or relationships. These beliefs can change from one situation to the next, and the encouraging part is, once you recognize this, you can work to shift your mindset in areas where you feel stuck. Developing a growth mindset isn't about pretending you're great at everything. It's not about blind optimism or toxic positivity. It's about being honest with yourself and understanding that while you might not be good at something now, you can improve. It's recognizing that growth takes time and effort, and that it's okay to be a beginner. So how do you start building a growth mindset? It begins with awareness. Pay attention to the way you talk to yourself when you're facing a challenge. Are you saying things like, "I'll never get this," or "I'm just not cut out for this"? Those are signs of a fixed mindset. Try to catch those thoughts and reframe them. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "I can't do this yet." That one word, "yet," opens the door to growth. Next, start to view mistakes differently. Everyone makes them. Instead of seeing them as proof that you're not good enough, start asking what you can learn from them. What went wrong? What could you do differently next time? When you start to see mistakes as part of the process, you stop being so afraid of them. It also helps to shift your focus away from results and onto effort. Instead of thinking only about the final grade, the promotion, or the win, focus on the work you're putting in and the progress you're making. Reward yourself for showing up, for trying, and for being consistent even when things are tough. Another powerful way to cultivate a growth mindset is to surround yourself with people who challenge you and encourage your growth. When you're around others who are learning, trying new things, and supporting one another, it becomes easier to stay motivated and to see setbacks as normal. Setting goals can also help, but make them goals that are about learning, not just achievement. Instead of saying, "I want to get an A," you might say, "I want to understand this subject more deeply." That change in mindset will help you stay engaged, even when the results don't come immediately. Reflecting regularly is also important. Take time to think about how you've grown. Look back at something you used to struggle with but can now do more easily. That's evidence that you're capable of growth. Sometimes we forget how far we've come until we stop and take stock. And don't forget to celebrate your small wins. Growth isn't always dramatic. Often it's slow and subtle. But every step counts. Every time you try again, every time you learn from a mistake, you're growing. And those moments deserve recognition. Now, it's important to point out that having a growth mindset doesn't mean you'll succeed at everything. It doesn't mean you'll become a master at every skill you try, but it does mean you'll keep improving. It means you'll learn more, get stronger, and feel more in control of your own path. That's powerful. People sometimes assume that the growth mindset is about becoming the best, but it's really about becoming better, better than you were yesterday, better than you thought you could be. It's about progress, not perfection, and it's about resilience, having the ability to keep going, keep learning, and keep believing in your ability to grow. So the next time you find yourself doubting your ability, pause. Listen to that inner voice. And ask yourself if it's helping you grow or holding you back. If it's the voice of a fixed mindset, try to shift it. Speak to yourself with compassion, with patience, and with belief in your capacity to improve. You're not limited by who you are today. You're shaped by what you do consistently, by how you respond to challenges, and by how you view your own potential. A fixed mindset keeps you in place. A growth mindset moves you forward. Which one will you choose? Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, feel free to like, share, or subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell us where you've noticed a fixed mindset in your life and what you're doing to change it. Remember, every step counts. Keep growing and never stop believing in the power of effort, learning, and mindset.